right downtown. It is breezy in some other conditions, but what we are seeing is a lot of sunshine around today, along with some very mild temperatures. Nice little thaw happening. We've enjoyed the sunshine today. You can see a few wispy clouds beginning to push in. Meanwhile, check this out. This is actually snowfall on the other side of the lake. Snowfall over in parts of Michigan. No snowfall here in Illinois, which is really kind of a sweet thing to say here as we go into the middle part of February. Temperatures right now, 54 both of the airports, 53 downtown, 54 in Aurora, 55 degrees in Ottawa, and 57 degrees in LaSalle, Peru. So sweet weather, normal daytime high temperatures only in the low and mid 30s. So we're well above the average. Winds a little gusty in some areas. But here's the key. The winds are all flowing out of the south and out of the southwest. That trend continues through the weekend, and I'll tell you what that means for you coming up.
All right, well, this guy caught on camera. It's a little scary. A man fell off the DuSable Bridge and into the water. A tour boat crew saw it and rushed over. This was around 11:30 this morning. The Wendella crew got him on board. He was out cold. Passengers and crew did CPR, and he came to. Someone from Wendella says the crew trains for this kind of thing.
Our crew trains weekly for all sorts of things, for first aid emergencies, fire emergencies, and man overboard emergencies. And what happened today, it is heroic. These are frigid temperatures, but it's not completely uncommon. Our crew has pulled a good amount of people out of the water, and every year they will pull people out of the water.
Paramedics took him to the hospital. We're still finding out how he's doing right now.
Come on, y'all, fill up every single corner. We need to fill up every single corner. Let's go, Lakeview.
Those chants you just heard came from Lakeview High School students. They say dozens walked out this afternoon to protest ICE and the Trump administration's immigration policies. And there was another protest in Aurora as well.
Earlier this week, a walkout there turned chaotic and led to arrests. Leslie Moreno is live at Federal Plaza, where students are also gathering there. Hi, Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, well, the crowd here has since dispersed, but there were hundreds of students out here at Federal Plaza also taking part in that student walkout. Again, one of many that we've seen across the area today. We also saw, as you mentioned, in Aurora this week as well. The second one, let's give you a look at what that looked like. All of this happening at 11 this morning. Video from earlier there shows students marching through downtown. This is following Monday's walkout, which drew about 1,500 students into the streets. Police say some students moved into traffic. Fights broke out and 3 teens were arrested. One of them is also accused of punching an officer. Earlier this week, we spoke with one of those students, a 15-year-old from East Aurora High School. He says he was tackled by police and had to be rushed to the hospital with bruises and head injuries. The next day, students and community members gathered outside the Aurora Police Department, demanding that those charges against those 3 teens be dropped. We spoke with the mayor earlier this morning. He says the city is working with community groups to provide non-uniformed escorts and marshals, hoping to limit direct police contact.
It's been a huge issue, trying to balance safety along with having a withdrawn presence from the police. They've hung back from the marches, so we don't have an incident like we did the other day. So far, things have gone off okay, but there are going to be some people that are spinning out their tires, and there's always going to be a few instigators. We just had a guy with a Trump flag show up, purposefully try and instigate the crowd, and it worked. So
the Aurora School District also reminding families and students who left campus will receive an unexcused absence and are no longer under school supervision. Meanwhile, the Kane County State's Attorney's Office says it is investigating the use of force during Monday's walkout. The mayor also telling us this morning that he is working on setting up some town hall meetings with the community and residents and students as well to talk about safety during these protests. Guys.
Speaking of safety, Leslie, just want to reiterate, were there any issues today at any of these protests, any violent encounters?
Yeah, nothing that we saw here outside in downtown in the Loop. We didn't see any fights with police. Everything was pretty peaceful. As far as Aurora, you did hear the mayor that he said that there was a guy that drove through and walked through with a Trump sign trying to instigate. He says there was a verbal exchange between that person and some of the protesters, the students, but nothing violent, nothing chaotic, and certainly no arrest and no confrontation with police like we saw on Monday.
Leslie, thank you. We're approaching 2 weeks since Nancy Guthrie disappeared in Arizona, and the Pima County Sheriff is pushing back against claims his office blocked federal involvement in the investigation.
He's also defending his department's work, and the FBI just doubled the reward for tips that could help find Guthrie.
Sarah Allegre is live in Tucson, Arizona. Sarah, what else is the sheriff saying tonight?
Well, just earlier, the sheriff here, Chris Nano, spoke with Fox News, basically saying he denied any recent reports that a glove was found inside Nancy Guthrie's home. He said he never found a glove on the property. He never reported that, essentially. But he also says he is working very closely with the FBI. This is very much a collaborative effort to bring Nancy Guthrie home.
It's not even close to accurate. First of all, we don't hold information from anybody that's going to help us. Why would we do that? There are no egos here. This is all about finding Nancy.
Yeah, and the sheriff says he called the FBI a day after Guthrie disappeared. He had the feds take the lead on investigating those ransom notes sent to media. Federal sources say the FBI wanted evidence tested at its Virginia lab, but Nano says his office sent DNA to a private lab in Florida early in the investigation. It's one his department is familiar with. He's also worried about splitting evidence up and what that would do when it comes for extra steps into the investigation. So the FBI asking the public for help, too. They've doubled its reward to figure out who the person in Nancy's doorbell cam video is. Investigators describing this person as a male, around 5'9", 5'10", an average build, seen wearing a black backpack, an Ozark Trail hiker pack. Meanwhile, investigators continue to search Guthrie's property. They're asking neighbors for surveillance video, people, cars, anything out of the ordinary, dating all the way back to January 1st. This as a growing display of support takes shape outside Guthrie's home. Neighbors leaving yellow flowers and tying ribbons around trees, all symbols of hope and optimism.
My thoughts and prayers is with them that their mom returns home safely and that God is protecting her and going to bring her home. It just kind of touched home. I have an elderly father, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of touched home with me.
Yeah, definitely, and a lot of emotions over at Nancy Guthrie's home. We also heard from Caroline Levitt a little bit earlier today. She said the White House is offering its full-fledged support. FBI Director Kash Patel is here on the ground in Arizona. She said, quote, the FBI is offering the full resources and weight of the federal government, or at least the White House is, rather, to help bring Nancy Guthrie home. Back to you guys.
And Sarah, have you heard anything more about those ransom notes?
Well, we are hearing from TMZ. You know, they have seen a couple of letters come in actually this week. 3 letters now from the same person, and not necessarily the ransom notes. We know the FBI is taking the lead on that, investigating that. We don't know how legitimate those are still at this point, but we know someone is reaching out to TMZ claiming they know the name of who took Nancy Guthrie. They asked for 1 Bitcoin earlier this week in exchange for that information. According to TMZ, with the most recent letter that they received today, that individual is now upping its price to the reward cost that the FBI is offering, $100,000 for information. Back to you.
Sarah, thank you. Police are looking for the people behind a violent attack in Fulton Market. A man was robbed at gunpoint in broad daylight, and it was all caught on camera. Take a look. This is in the 200 block of North Peoria Street just before 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Police say the 49-year-old victim was standing near the sidewalk when 2 men cornered him. Investigators say one of the suspects pulled out a gun and demanded his belongings. The other suspect can be seen beating the victim. victim. Those masked men then drove off in a Range Rover. The victim declined medical attention. The Fulton Market Association director says they need more cameras in the area.
I do believe they know in Fulton Market that there have been a few armed robberies. There have been some, like other neighborhoods, and they're not being caught. And so the first line of defense is to have Chicago police cameras that would record not only the crimes that happened, but the vehicles coming in and out of the community.
So far, no arrests have been made. If you recognize the suspects in this video, reach out to police. 27th Ward Alderman Walter Burnett is also weighing in, saying in part, the safety of our constituents is a top priority for this ward. I have spoken with the 12th District Commander, who is aware of the incident, and I have been assured that the police presence will increase in the area. Chicago police also investigating a stabbing on the CTA Green Line. It happened just before 11 last night at the 47th Street station in Bronzeville. Police say the victim was stabbed in the face, but he is expected to be okay. They are still looking for the person who attacked him.
All right, Democrats and Republicans are going at it again. They're fighting over money for Homeland Security.
And it's all about ICE. Lawmakers cannot agree on changes.
Also, grocery shopping starting to feel a little easier for some of you, and there's something behind it.
And many were put off by this Super Bowl ad about Ring's new surveillance feature, the big move the company just made.
Minute oil change.
All right, this just into the newsroom. We need to tell you about Mayor Johnson just vetoed the hemp ban. We've talked about this before. Very controversial. Supporters of that proposal want to regulate the growing industry, but business owners say it will put them out of business. Now, this is getting bigger, especially as Gen Z and millennials are skipping alcohol for more options. We're going to stay on top of this and have an update for you on the news at 5.
The Department of Homeland Security is set to partially shut down. A live look at the nation's capital, where lawmakers have failed to reach a deal over funding for the government agency. The deadline is midnight.
Yeah, this is all about ICE. That's where the fight started. Democrats want to change how immigration is enforced. One idea is banning face masks for agents. Republicans try to get 2 more weeks to talk reforms, but Democrats said no. Republicans say Dems are just using ICE to score political points, not to fix the issue.
Why? So that you can posture politically. I'm over it. I have reports of TSA agents sleeping in their car.
The lack of seriousness from the White House and from Republicans not getting language until last night has put us in the position we are in today.
ICE still gets its money because that bill passed a while back, but TSA, FEMA could really feel this shutdown. TSA agents won't miss a paycheck until at least mid-March. Don Lemon, the journalist who used to anchor at CNN, says he did nothing wrong today in federal court. He pleaded not guilty. This is all about his coverage of protests over immigration enforcement in Minnesota. He stood before a judge for a quick hearing. Prosecutors say he joined a protest back on January 18th. It was at a church in Minnesota where an ICE official serves as pastor. During the service, people started chanting ICE out and justice for Renee Good. They're talking about the 37-year-old mom of 3 who was shot and killed by an ICE officer in Minneapolis earlier this month. Well, Lemon says he is not part of the group. He says he was only there as a journalist covering it for his live stream show. All right, let's talk about Wall Street now and stocks, how they're doing. A bit of a volatile trading session, if you will, with some mixed results. Some stocks up, others down. The Nasdaq has been dropping for 5 straight weeks. That's the longest slide since May of 2022. But some good news for shoppers. Inflation is easing up. A new economic report coming out this morning as well, showing that you were all finally getting some relief from all the high prices. Inflation is now at its lowest level in 5 years.
Rebecca Castor has those details.
American shoppers are still paying more for basic items than they did a year ago, but they're no longer grappling with soaring prices. Inflation is cooling, with the latest data showing prices rose just 0.2% from December to January and fell to 2.4% from 2.7% on an annual basis.
President Trump inherited an economic mess from the Biden administration. Inflation was at a record high 9%. That is a remarkable turnaround in just a little over a year.
Prices for food and shelter are still up, but what's helping bring down inflation are energy prices, especially what you're paying at the pump. Gas prices are down 7.5% in the last year.
You see what's happening even with gasoline. I was in Iowa last week, and it was $1.85 a gallon, and many of them are $1.99 and $1.91 I saw.
Another positive trend is most Americans are making enough money to keep up with higher prices. Real wages, which account for inflation, are up 1.25% from last year, while under President Biden, real wages fell 1.4%.
Those of us that are fortunate enough to be in the higher earning salary and wage ranges have been able to stay ahead of the pace of inflation generally.
Many market experts think cooling inflation and higher wages will lead to another interest rate cut next month. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox Chicago.
All right, inflation can cool, but we don't want our temperatures cooling anytime soon. Loving these 50s, Mark, and I hear a 6-0 might be coming.
You know, it's entirely possible coming up in the 7-day forecast.
Love it.
You got to love it. But, you know, in the meantime, we're going to be in that fat, meaty part of the 50s, so we're going to be pretty close. We're looking out over the lake here this evening, this late afternoon, and it's sunny. It's really just a pleasant day today. Maybe breezy where you are because there are a couple of pockets of winds in excess of 20 miles per hour, but a lot of us only seeing about 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. So really a pretty nice day. The downtown looking pretty good. And how long is this going to last? Well, this is the 7 to 14 day temperature trend. And you can see that the trend will be for, generally speaking, those temperatures to top out above normal. Now, we are way above normal coming up over the next couple of days. I've got 59 painted on the Monday. Now, Not going to take a whole lot to hit 60 degrees there, but you know, let's play it at 59 at the moment. And we fall off into the 40s, 50s. We're in the 40s early next week. But I got to tell you, even these 40s are looking pretty sweet compared to where we normally would be. Normal average daytime high temperatures into the 30s, so that's all good. We've got one cold day out of the next 10, and you know what? That's day 9 of day 10. That's a long ways off. Things could change by then. Well, we do have some snowfall coming through the Great Lakes, pretty much pushing off to our east. For us, it's fair skies here through the evening hours, and I think we'll even see a little bit of sunshine coming up over the weekend, especially on Sunday. But I'm loving this, that vitamin C, that vitamin sunshine, feeling pretty good. Jet stream keeping the cold air bottled to the north. Mostly it's been the west to east flow bringing in mild Pacific air, and we're actually going to tap into a little bit of that southwest flow as temperatures push again well above average into the 50s this weekend. This is going to be a great weekend to get out and do that stuff you needed to do. And again, the temperatures stay in the 50s for the early part of the week through next week as well. So as we go through the rest of the evening, 48 degrees by 5 o'clock, 40 degrees at 9 o'clock, mostly clear skies for the early evening hours, eventually settling down into the low 30s overnight tonight. But those temperatures, overnight low temperatures, are not far from our normal daytime highs. So sitting pretty. Temperatures tomorrow, let's go back up into the 50s. I think we'll make it up there. And then tomorrow night, temperatures back down into the mid and upper 30s before upper 50s, pushing our way Sunday and into Monday. More on that coming up.
All right, it's going to be a great weekend. Still to come, weight loss drugs are growing in popularity, but so are the side effects.
The rare disease the drugs have been linked to and what doctors say you need to do in order to stave it off.
And the death of Dawson's Creek star James Vanderbeek has sounded the alarm about colorectal cancer in young people, how early screenings can save lives.
got junk.
Well, young people are getting colon cancer now. James Vanderbeek just died from it. He was just 48.
Vanderbeek announced his stage 3 colon cancer diagnosis in 2024. Ted Lindner has more on what health experts say you should know about the disease and how early screenings can save your life.
Colorectal cancer is one of the most common cancers in the U.S. The American Cancer Society reports around 150,000 Americans will be diagnosed with it each year, and it is starting to become more common among Americans under the age of 50. Health experts say there's no specific cause for the increase, but some lifestyle choices could make an impact.
Changes in diet over time, more processed foods, less kind of natural foods maybe playing a role.
Dr. Peter Stanich, a gastroenterologist at The Ohio State University, says even people who live healthy lifestyles could still be at risk.
Mutations can occur that can lead to polyps, which are small growths that over time can turn into cancer.
Stanich says colorectal cancer often comes with obvious symptoms.
Rectal bleeding, iron deficiency anemia, change in bowel habits, belly pain. Make sure you're talking with your doctor.
Health experts say early screenings can save lives as the cancer can be treated.
We can find polyps, which are small growths that can turn into cancer.
For screenings, Stanich advises people without a family history of the disease to get screened when they're 45. And those who do should start at 40. Stanich says the most common type of screening is a colonoscopy, which he says is becoming an easier process.
Make sure you talk with your doctor because they're a lot easier to do now and you don't drink as much at one time.
Stanich says people who opt for stool-based testing instead may still need a colonoscopy if they receive a positive test.
Because you do have an increased risk for colon cancer and we want to confirm that and make sure you're doing the right testing.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
As GLP-1 weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy continue to explode in popularity, so does the list of possible side effects.
Yeah, one of the weirdest, scurvy. That happens when you don't get enough vitamin C. It used to be a big problem for sailors and pirates, right, who couldn't eat fresh food. So how does this even happen? These GLP-1 meds can kill your appetite. Sometimes people just stop eating enough fruits and veggies. Experts say it takes about a month without vitamin C to show up. It can cause anemia, bleeding gums, slow healing, and easy bruising. We talked to a doctor at Endeavor Health. She says this is part of a bigger issue.
I think just people are not getting adequate dietary advice. Long-term weight management has to be comprehensive in nature, and that means that not only, would someone potentially be taking the medication, but does that mean are they getting adequate nutrition? That means are they getting adequate protein intake, their fruits, veggies, grains, all those things, along with adequate exercise.
Doctors say if you're using these meds, make sure you're getting enough vitamin C, fruit, veggies, or even a supplement can help.
Ring is calling off its partnership with a public safety tech company amid backlash over a Super Bowl ad. You may remember this one. The ad highlighted a new search party feature which uses AI to scan neighborhoods in certain situations, including when pets go missing. But a lot of people pointed out that the feature is powered by tech from Flock Safety, which could be used by law enforcement for things like reading license plates. Ring, which is owned by Amazon, says it is no longer working with Flock.
So to come, several local schools are at risk of closing next month.
The large amount of money Aspira says it needs to stay open and how many students might need to find a new classroom.
And look at here, it's so nice outside. How long will it stay this nice? Mark will let us know when we come back.
If you want total health care from a provider you trust,
hi, Blair.
Right in the palm of your hand? If you want soup, sweatpants, and zero in-person contact. If you want wellness wherever. Our virtual primary care delivers with great website manner.
No worries.
So choose your doctor from our profiles and enjoy the healthiest online relationship you've ever had. House calls have evolved. Advocate Healthcare.
Chicago.
Now, at 4:30, the police in town have a new tool for chases. They think it'll make driving safer for everyone.
One organization using Valentine's Day to raise awareness about domestic violence.
And there's a group of Chicago charter schools that might have to close before school's out. We're talking about Aspira, which runs 2 high schools and an alternative school.
Brett Bagansky is live in Avondale. And Brett, it sounds like these schools could close as soon as next month.
That's certainly the case. So we found out that this network of charter schools is having some financial problems. And within the last hour, the CEO of Aspira of Illinois confirmed with us that they've requested $4.8 million to CPS just to get through this school year. In a worst case scenario, if Aspira ends up closing in the middle of the year, we're talking about 570 plus students who would have to transfer to other schools. So this primarily impacts the Hispanic and Latino communities. So we're also working to find out what would happen to the students who are enrolled at the alternative school. But at this week's Chicago Public Schools Board of Education meeting, we heard from members of the Chicago Teachers Union as well as board members urging the interim CEO of CPS as well as other members of the administration to come up with a plan in case hundreds of students need to transfer in just 3 weeks.
And while CPS has provided some stability in advancing funds since Thanksgiving, they have told people that those funds are about to run out. There will be no more that CPS could do that's legal unless there are discussions and thinking around alternatives.
I spoke with Gemma Fabara, who teaches English and Latino literature at Antonia Pantoja High School, which is the alternative school in the charter network. And she told me there's a real fear they could close before the year is up, and she's just worried about what's going to happen to her students who are already vulnerable.
Will they go back to school? Will they just say, you know what, maybe this is a sign for me to not get my high school diploma? So I think for them, for me and for them, I think just that uncertainty, and hopefully that if it does come down to closing, that they're able to find success in another school. But that's not guaranteed.
So here is the very lengthy statement that we got from Aspira CEO Edgar Lopez, and you can see that full statement momentarily on our website, fox32chicago.com. So essentially in this letter, what it says is it's asking CPS for more time and allows them to finish out the school year to be able to find some kind of money, but certainly there's a little uncertainty here. And I did reach out to CPS, who also told me that they've given them 4 different advances from November of last year to this past January just so they can make payroll and so the teachers can go get paid on time.
And Brett, it sounds like some CPS board members wrote a letter asking them not to give Aspira more money. Tell us more about that.
So we're working to get a copy of that letter. I reached out to the Chicago Public Schools Board of Education, so waiting to get a confirmation on what exactly was said in that letter. But from what Edgar Lopez had told me in this letter that you can find on our website momentarily is that it's to his understanding that 13 different members of the Board of Education signed on to a letter asking the interim CEO of CPS not to send Aspira any more money. So certainly there's this conflict of what they're going to do financially, but he also said they really just want to be able to give anyone clarity if they have students, or talking about families who have students at Aspira, to be able to find out that if they are going to close in the middle of March so they can make some plans right away to transfer.
Okay, Brett, thanks. The Oak Brook Police Department is rolling out a new gadget, introducing its latest tool in fighting crime called the Grappler. There it is. It's designed to bring high-speed car chases to an end by snagging a suspect's rear wheel and preventing them from going any further.
It entangles in that tire and disables that vehicle and then tethers to the frame of the squad car, ultimately bringing that car to a stop safely.
Officials say this is significantly safer than other tactics, including the pit maneuver.
All right, two men who spent years in prison were back in court today in Chicago, both saying they were wrongfully convicted after police torture. They're trying to clear their names. One is Kevin Jackson, the other is Lester Owens. Jackson spent 23 years locked up for a shooting. Court papers show witnesses later recanted and said police pressured them. The victim also said Jackson wasn't the shooter. Owens was convicted for a 2007 case. He says police forced testimony against him, and another person has since admitted to the crime. Both cases involve the same detectives. And records show one of those detectives has multiple complaints and was named in a city lawsuit. Supporters turned out in the courtroom today and online. Owens is scheduled to return February 18th. Activist Jasmine Smith talks about the process Jackson now faces.
Now here we are, a year after he's been released, fighting and continuance after continuance after continuance of trying to get his certificate of innocence. And the way that the legislation is even written up for them to obtain their certificate of innocence is a complete contradiction of what the law really stands for. So it's just, an awful experience for our survivors.
The judge hasn't ruled yet on Jackson's certificate of innocence. Owens will be back in court next week. Both are waiting to hear what happens next.
This Valentine's Day, the largest domestic violence organization in the state is celebrating the 10-year anniversary of its Southwest Side Safe House. Wings program will mark the milestone by hosting a special meal for survivors. They'll be surrounded by program graduates who have walked a similar path. The Safe House, which operates at an undisclosed location for the safety of guests, provides multi-tiered support to men, women, and children escaping domestic abuse.
Wings Metro has provided 125,000 nights of shelter to over 1,700 adults and children, most of those being children, to take that first step, that safety step out of domestic violence. Most people don't know that the most dangerous time for someone is when they're trying to leave the person who is causing the harm to them.
Experts say most domestic violence survivors try to leave 7 times before they're successful. If you or someone you know needs help, the Illinois Domestic Violence Hotline can be reached at 877-863-6338. Also this Valentine's Day, the American Heart Association is reminding us that heart disease is the leading cause of death for women in the U.S. This morning, the nonprofit's Go Red for Women experience was held downtown with record-breaking attendance. Heart attack and stroke survivors shared their stories, empowering women to make lifestyle changes to improve their overall health.
Most importantly, here in Chicago today, we are tapping into the power of connection and camaraderie, not just from person to person, but from business to business, provider to provider, and health system to health system.
Nearly 45% of women over the age of 20 are living with cardiovascular disease. It's an important nudge to take charge of your health and chat with your doctor.
All right, we're heading back outside right now, feeling really nice, but how long does it stay this way? We getting a reality check anytime soon, Mark?
The reality is what we're looking at right there. Some pretty decent weather right through the weekend. And, by decent weather, I mean, we're not talking about, 70s or anything like that, but we are talking about the chance to hit maybe 60 degrees coming up in the 7-day forecast. And we're talking about generally dry conditions across the area. This is how Futurecast looks as we head into the weekend. High pressure sailing right across the high plains, kind of slowly trying to push our way. But in the meantime, we stay dry overnight tonight. This is tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And you can see well south of Interstate Interstate 80. There will be some rainfall. Central Illinois, southern Illinois. I think that leaves us alone, though. We stay dry. You have to go pretty far to the south to run into any of that. And to run into much cloud cover, the same situation. I think we stay partly sunny skies throughout much of the day tomorrow, and then a lot of sunshine coming our way on Sunday, looking pretty good. Our weather looks solid temperature-wise as we go all the way through midweek. I'll tell you about that and share that 7-day forecast coming up.
All right. Well, you see some funny things when you fly.
Boy, don't you. One woman turned her tray table into a telly. Some people impressed, some people are disgusted.
And today's Monument Moment celebrates Black History Month. Up next, we learn about a Bronzeville statue that's honoring a brave group of African Americans.
On Fox. As we celebrate Black History Month, we're learning about a special tribute in Bronzeville.
The monument to the Great Northern Migration honors the millions of African Americans who fled the Jim Crow South for better lives.
Dane Placco has more in today's Monument Moment.
Between 1915 and 1970, it's estimated more than 6 million African Americans left the southern United States and headed north to liberate themselves from the oppression of Jim Crow and seek better jobs and opportunities. Their journey is symbolized in this striking monument to the Great Northern Migration at 26th Place and King Drive in the heart of Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood. Created by artist Allison Sarr and dedicated in 1996, the 15-foot-tall monument is dominated by the bronze figure of an African-American man facing north, his hand raised in greeting to his new home. In his other hand, a worn suitcase carrying his dreams and talents. The man is wearing a suit made of shoe soles riddled with holes, symbolizing the long and difficult journey north. and he stands on a mound made of the same worn shoes. The bollards surrounding the monument take the form of suitcases, stamped with patterns reminiscent of tin ceilings from that era. The Great Northern Migration Monument serves as a reminder of the millions of African Americans who left home to make a new home and start a new life here in Chicago.
Well, with Valentine's Day a day away, many couples will snuggle up and watch a rom-com.
These movies melt our hearts, but some experts say they could be setting us up to fail.
Yeah, I know that's right. And it may be Friday the 13th, but we're feeling pretty lucky when it comes to the forecast. Mark Strell joins us to give us the bigger picture when we come back.
Hoops.
I don't know. I just feel like Mother Nature is just like pranking us or something.
It feels like
gaslighting us or something.
But are we going to get disappointed, Mark?
So what I hear from you is that you both have fear of the carpet being pulled out from underneath
I'm always
your feet.
skeptical.
Exactly.
Well, it is the middle of February.
Right. The winter clock out early or something?
No.
Okay.
It can still snow all the way through April. So be prepared.
April Fools.
Hold on to your britches. We've got beautiful weather coming our way right now, especially the warm ones, because we'll need them again. There's no doubt about that. 54 degrees right now. We do have some sunshine. I'm saying enjoy what we got now. Winds out of the southwest at 18 miles an hour. One of the reasons to really enjoy this is because it's going to stretch in through the weekend and into next week as well. Your satellite and radar are showing that we have been clear. There are a few clouds out to our west. Our ground free of snow. Meanwhile, a little pocket of snow coming through the eastern Great Lakes. Not going to affect us. Tomorrow we'll have some rainfall across central parts of southern Illinois. Again, I don't think that's going to affect us at all. Temperatures right now in the 50s, 54 degrees at both of the airports, 51 degrees right now in Seneca. We're doing 50s virtually everywhere. Overnight tonight, we hold on to the 50s for the evening hours, eventually pushing down to about the freezing mark overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, we'll start out with a little sunshine. I think a few clouds during the afternoon, but look at this, temperature still in the mid-50s, mid and upper 50s on Sunday with even more sunshine. And right now, I've got 59 penciled in on Monday. 59. Yeah, of course we could easily hit 60 degrees then. I'm still going to pencil in 59. I don't want to get your hopes up too high. Futurecast showing that we have the clear skies, the sunshine here now. Storm system out over the plains will drive some rainfall across Missouri. There's your rainfall southern and central Illinois, but I don't think it's going to get up even close to Interstate 80. I think it's going to stay down to our south. So, starting out the day with a little sunshine tomorrow and then ending up with a few clouds during the afternoon with more sunshine on Sunday. Either way, it's a great equation for a good-looking weekend. 35 overnight tonight. Winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. You got to love that the winds are coming out of the southwest. That's one of the reasons we're seeing the mild temperatures. 55 degrees tomorrow. Absolutely pleasant. 7-day forecast, 50s, 50s, pretty close to 60. Pretty close to 60. We fall off a little bit here. Look at that. There's a 48, and I've got a 45 and a 42. But guys, I got to tell you, even that 42 is still above average. So everything across the board in the 7-day forecast, warmer than normal, which in February is a good thing. Stick around. We're coming right back.
The Chicago
only at Ashley.
Okay, when it comes to flying, we have all learned sometimes you just need to expect the unexpected.
Like a peacock, a service dog, you name it. But I don't think anyone could have imagined this. A woman from Utah turned her tray table into a deli. She spread out sub rolls. She assembled full sandwiches. I'm talking layers of meat, cheese, onions, and pickles, handing them out to her family. Well, the video was shared on TikTok, where everyone has an opinion, right? Some people praised her for being resourceful. Others said they were concerned about germs, or the food smells disrupting the other passengers.
I mean, she looks like a sweet lady, but
I would have just said, "Hey, Linda, let me get a sip." And do you have bacon?
Maybe she would sell it. A few bucks.
Okay, I'll give it $2.
Make some money off of it.
All right, tomorrow is the holiday of love,
leading hundreds of couples in Peru to get hitched ahead of Valentine's Day. The couple said "I do" during a group wedding in Lima yesterday. The city set up an area for brides to get pampered, while grooms were given a white rose for their jackets. All the couples who participated in the ceremony saved up $149 in paperwork costs to formalize their marriages.
That's so sweet.
Very sweet.
All right, many of you could cozy up and watch a rom-com for Valentine's Day.
Perhaps these movies and shows make your heart swell, but are they setting us up for unrealistic expectations when it comes to our love lives?
Yeah, nobody chasing after you in the airport. Anna Eliopoulos has details.
Whether you love or hate celebrating Valentine's Day, most can agree that rom-coms can make your heart skip a beat.
I love rom-coms. Some of my favorite are with Matt McConaughey.
Despite formulaic plots,
there's always like a big gesture of love in a lot of these rom-coms.
And predictable endings.
That stuff just doesn't really happen.
Audiences can't get enough.
Rom-coms focus on the infatuation stage of a relationship, which is what gives you those butterflies, the roller coaster feelings. I get why that makes good TV. It makes for a good film. But we can't expect that infatuation phase to last our whole lives.
But beyond infatuation, are these films and shows setting unrealistic expectations for the rest of us? Whether it's the grand gestures to try to win someone's love.
These types of gestures would freak women out. And we're supposed to think this is romantic and sexy, and that's just not realistic in the slightest.
Or what you take away from them.
If people internalize those narratives as something that is to be aspired to, then they might be setting themselves up for disappointment.
Experts say they don't reflect real life, leaning on tropes of love at first sight and happily ever after, leaving out serious conflict, financial stress, and mundane things like deciding what to eat for dinner.
Rom-coms make love seem very exciting, and love can be very boring on a day-to-day level.
It's not surprising people fall in love with romantic storytelling, because for most, it's been ingrained in us since childhood.
Social scientists would say that from a very young age, we're primed to look for those kinds of stories and to celebrate those stories. So it makes sense that as adults, we are still interested in those kinds of love and relationship stories.
Experts understand the appeal of rom-coms, but have this advice.
As long as folks go into watching rom-coms with realistic expectations that this is a fun diversion, it's entertaining, but not to take lessons from rom-coms for how a romance might unfold in your own real life.
In New York, Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
Thanks for watching the news at 4.
Here's what's coming up at 5. Looks like Woodstock Willie was right. It's feeling a lot more like spring, and it's only getting better.
Schools all over the area walking out of class today, protesting ICE and immigration policies.
People in Fulton Market are asking for more cameras and security after this, an armed robbery. Thank you for staying with us at 5. I'm Terrence Lee.
And I'm Casey Cronus. Tia has the night off. We're starting off with a rescue operation.